Welcome to the development of ethical reasoning in the emergence of caring and integrity. Module 2. Do animals have morality? Animals have always played a role in nurturing human beings and providing opportunities for our caring and compassion. From drawing on cave walls to beloved stuffed pets, animals have been a part of our history. Animals have also played important roles in stories like Goldilocks and the Three Bears, and the Three Little Pigs, and in picture books like Sylvester and the Magic Pebble and The Amazing Bone. Do children recognize something that we have grown to overlook? We are learning about the nature of animals from primatologists like Franz de Waal in The Age of Empathy and Good-Natured, and evolutionary biologists like Mark Bekoff in Wild Justice. As we consider the work of animal behavior experts, we have to avoid two errors. The first error is to overestimate animals. We have to caution ourselves not to anthropomorphize, to redefine animals in human terms. Animals, no matter how much we love them, are not people. The second mistake is to underestimate animals. We should give them credit for having an emotional and cognitive life that is more than that of trees or insects. Our brains are dramatically different, but there are some similarities. The human brain is divided into three sections: the brainstem, the limbic system, and the cortex. The brainstem is responsible for heart rate, breathing, and maintaining consciousness. Some creatures, like the earthworm and ant, have brains that are essentially limited to the brainstem. The limbic system is in the very center inside of the brain and is composed of several integrated structures, such as the amygdala, hippocampus, and cingulate gyrus. Limbic system structures are involved in emotions like fear, anger, and pleasure. Although their limbic system is not as advanced or as efficiently connected with the cortex as in human beings, mammals have emotional lives of their own that emerge from the gift of their own limbic structures. The cortex is in the outer part of the brain and is responsible for thought. Although animals have a cortex, humans have a cerebral cortex that is far more complicated with a much greater surface area. In summary, animals can feel sad, happy, and afraid. They cannot reflect intellectually on the meaning of their emotional experience. The significance of emotions are far different for people than animals. We have much to learn about what our animal companions are thinking and feeling. Primatologists and animal behaviorists have been making significant discoveries in three clusters of animal behavior: empathy, cooperation, and justice. The empathy cluster includes sympathy, compassion, caring, helping, grieving, and consoling. Mourning rituals have been observed in many different kinds of animals. Last May, a female pit bull was killed by a car on a Phoenix street. Her partner refused to abandon her, staying by her side for more than 14 hours before animal control removed her body. A local business put out food and water. Shelter rescuers said the dog was so depressed that they may not be able to find a home to adopt him. Elephants are known for their emotional attraction for each other. Cynthia Moss, in her documentary, Echo: An Elephant to Remember, filmed in the Amboseli National Park, observed elephants shuffling along to keep the pace of a crippled baby. They stayed with the crippled calf for 3 days until it could continue. Elephants grieve openly for their dead by nudging, touching, rocking themselves, and vocalizing. They show a pronounced interest in corpses and bones. De Waal observed an elephant named Agatha regularly returned to a fatal spot where her mother died 15 months earlier. There she would gently turn and feel her mother's skull. In one research study, A rhesus monkey refused to pull a chain that delivered food to himself, if doing so gave a shock to a companion. How did the monkey know a shock to the other animal is imminent? It picks up the distressed look on the face of the other monkey. DeWall showed that chimpanzees were more likely to follow aggressive conflict with friendly behaviors like kissing, submissive vocal sounds, touching, and embracing than they were to do these things during conflict-free periods. The cooperation cluster includes altruism, reciprocity, trust, punishment, revenge, community concern, and maintenance of good relationships. When Echo, the matriarch of an elephant group, had her calf Ebony kidnapped by another group, her family charged them together. They rescued Ebony so she could rejoin her mother. Male golden monkeys at the University of Peking actively promote peaceful coexistence among their females, intervening in nearly every female altercation to disperse or stand between those in conflict, gesturing to and grooming both. The justice cluster involves a sense of fair play, sharing, a desire for equity, retribution, and expectations of how to be treated. In a group of chimps at the Arnhem Zoo in the Netherlands, individuals punish younger chimps who are late for dinner because no one eats until everyone is present. More than 2 hours after dinner, the two adolescents are given separate bedrooms to prevent reprisals. The next morning, the entire colony vented its frustration about the delayed meal by a mass pursuit of the culprits, ending in a physical beating. They were the first to come into dinner that evening. DeWall observed a chimp named Belle take her troop to food. She stops uncovering food, though, when another chimp named Rock is present. Belle knows Rock will bite her and push her away to take the food for himself. When a caretaker sets out one piece of food, Belle would lead Rock to that food and then race to a bigger pile. If Rock ignored the single food and kept a watch on Belle, she would have temper tantrums. Participation in a hunt affects how much meat a male chimpanzee can expect at the end. Males who are attracted to a scene after the prey is captured tend to receive little or nothing, whatever their rank or age. Females are not held to the same standard. They receive meat regardless of their role in the hunt. This practice guarantees a high rate of collaboration. What does this mean for our own ethical development? Shouldn't animals inspire us to a higher standard of caring, justice, and cooperation? The earliest sign of a sociopathic personality, someone without a conscience, is cruelty toward animals in childhood. The relationship between violence and animal abuse is described in First Strike, a program of the Humane Society. Do we have an ethical responsibility to care about all living things, especially those who share at some level our own emotional experience? Do we want to raise our children in a kind and compassionate world? In her book, Made for Each Other, The Biology of the Human-Animal Bond, Meg Olmert writes, "Nature's ability to turn our heads and hearts in its direction supplies an emotional and physiological component that sharpens our observational skills and makes us feel even closer to the living world around us." Do animals have morality? They follow their own code of compassion, cooperation, and fairness, a code expressed within the capacities of their brains. Insight into animal behavior, though, reveals something about our own nature. We are like Russian dolls, where our external moral self is part of a nested series of former selves in our evolution, which, according to DeWall, are all good-natured, down to the tiny little figure in the very center.